Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Me again, Shannon Fox here, Devoted Patriots 2 channel. Had a couple things I wanted to read to y'all, a couple videos I wanted to play, and some things going on in the world today that I thought I should share with y'all, including the fact that everybody's calling for prosecutions on all this stuff these Democrats have been doing wrong since the get-go. I'm talking about the Russia collusion hoax, talking about election fraud, I'm talking about all the criminal activities that have been perpetrated by the Democrats and the left-wing media and the deep state along the way. They all colluded together to get Trump, and so many other things that were just plumb criminal, treasonous, traitorous. Now, we all know what's happened with the election process during the 2016, 2020, and 2024 process. We know how 2020 went as far as the worst of the worst, how they really treated us in 7 swing states, if not more than that. But we now have the proof of what all went down as far as the shady deals, how the election was manipulated and things in a lot of states, including with the Arizona audit. And I know you all remember Maricopa having their big audit there that lasted months and months to have no conclusive evidence that proved anything other than they stole the election and nobody done nothing about it. And that's the truth of the matter. I remember going through all that, and after we proved everything we could, there's still the corrupt people in charge will play the old Schultz move where I see nothing. Well, as is, folks, whether we bust them on the election fraud and put anybody in jail behind that, the Katie Hobbs types, the Stephen Richards, the people that were actually involved in the shenanigans there, we do have evidence of cartel money that has definitely entrenched the entire state of Arizona. And I knew that was the reason that the election would be stolen there, was because cartel money runs the state, and there's no doubt about it. That's why Katie Hobbs wants open borders and less arrests over drug charges and so many things. She likes illegal immigration, all the things that you would want if you were a cartel boss. As a matter of fact, Katie Hobbs' right-hand man, Adrian Fontes, I think he's the attorney general there in the state, used to be a cartel lawyer. Go figure. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into some of the things I want to read y'all what they have found out about Actblue this week involved with Arizona money that should have been election money or go towards, I guess, the campaign. This is Arizona State Senator Mark Finchem, who I got to meet one time, and whistleblower Sean Taylor uncover evidence of Actblue real estate fraud. More Actblue crimes. And if you don't know who Actblue is, that is the fundraising apparatus for the Democrat Party. It's how they laundered money in from like George Soros types and said little old ladies donated 3,000 times a year in small increments to hide the money trail. Now, James O'Keefe actually broke that story out, so that is another pile of evidence that's going to be coming out against Actblue, and hopefully get some prosecutions behind that as well, because we knew who the culprits were. Kamala Harris. Says evidence of Actblue's real estate fraud and money laundering scheme in the billions of dollars, the motherlode of all financial crimes. Now, I believe they're hiding the money. Let's read the story together. It says Arizona State Senator Mark Finchem also serves as executive director of Election Fairness Institute, EFI. A former Tennessee Assistant Chief of Police Sean Taylor, the senior research analyst for EFI, had quietly been leading a bombshell investigation into what may be the largest money laundering and real estate fraud scheme in U.S. history. According to exclusive evidence shared with Unleashed News, the Gateway Pundit suspicious property transactions totaling in the billions are now under review, with the trail pointing directly at top Actblue leadership, its donor network, and web of accomplices. At the center of the shocking discovery is what investigators are calling the magic mortgage money laundering scheme, which appears to be tied directly to Actblue and its donor channels. The scheme allegedly uses inflated property sales and rapid same-day flips as a pipeline to funnel illicit funds through U.S. finances and political system. So I'm assuming they're buying houses for $100,000, and then they're saying, well, now they're worth $1 million and selling them the same day. Okay. They said it's a rapid same-day flip as a pipeline to funnel illicit funds through the U.S. financial and political system. Huh. I guess that's one way to launder money is to buy property. Says in a year-long investigation, Fitchum's team, along with the whistleblower Sean Taylor, a former law enforcement officer in Tennessee, have uncovered patterns of multiple same-day property transfers where values were inflated by as much as 10 times the original or 100 times the original sales amount within hours. 100 times. Wow. The evidence is staggering. Property sales histories pulled from the LexisNexis, one of the most trusted top-tier real estate and public record platforms. LexisNexis is widely regarded as the gold standard for aggregation property and deed record directed from county records and clerk offices across the country. Unleashed News has interviewed both Senator Fincham and Sean Taylor directly and has poured over an excruciating amount of documents. The evidence has already been shared with the Department of Justice and the FBI, signaling that federal investigations and even political congressional hearings are on the horizon. Gotta ask Katie Hobbs some questions. Her and her whole team. What we're seeing here looks like a motherlode of all money laundering schemes, said Mark Fincham. It's so vast that it touches everything: political, slush funds, cartel money, human trafficking proceeds, and possibly even Chinese Communist Party cash being funneled into the U.S. These are too many of these 100% same-day spike transactions for this to be dismissed as simple Scrivener error, said the whistleblower to Sean Taylor. When the numbers jump by a factor of 100 in a matter of hours across multiple properties and states, it points to something deliberate and systematic. Yeah, there's something going on there. At the heart of the unfolding scandal is a press release issued by Mark Fincham investigative team and Taylor Group's Election Fairness Institute. This document outlines the first wave of properties under review and shocking pattern that emerged from the deed history. Now, what would be the purpose of inflating the property value by 100 times in order to, I guess, hide money? Say you paid more for it than you actually did. I'm guessing that would be the answer. Suppose you spend $100,000 on a house, and you say it cost you $10 million. Well, that's a tax write-off. You bought you a house worth $10 million in theory. There's probably many ways to launder the money once you get into deeds and things. This just isn't just about real estate fraud. It's about financial pipeline that fuels everything rotten in America right now, says Fincham. When you see the numbers this big, you're looking at cartel money, human trafficking, and so many other things. Jesus. They're trying to hide the money, I'm guessing, folks. So stay tuned right here on the Gateway Pundit for further updates and exclusive document releases. We continue to break the biggest investigative story of the century. People involved in Actblue, a lot of them have already bailed out, quit their jobs, left the country because of the money laundering scheme that was found out involving the millions and millions of dollars given to people like Beyonce for putting their arm around Kamala Harris for 3 minutes and getting $11 million, which is criminal. Trump pointed that out just the other day. Now, speaking about criminality, the DOJ took down another dark web child abuse site. This is the second one I've reported on. Over 120,000 users, millions of files in Operation Grayskull. It says in one of the most aggressive and successful anti-child exploitation crackdowns in U.S. history, President Trump's Justice Department has revealed results of Operation Grayskull, a sweeping international strike that dismantled 4 high-traffic dark web platforms trafficking violent child sex abuse material, exposing the digital cesspool, included over 120,000 registered users and millions of illicit files. Dang. Tells you there's a lot of sick people. To date, 18 individuals have been convicted in federal court, receiving a combined 300 years in prison. The Justice Department detained how Thomas Peter Katsamples, 52, of Minnesota, became a staff member of one of these despicable sites, personally distributing CSAM, guiding others on how to do so, helping manage operation. He was sentenced to over 20 years in prison, lifetime supervision, forced to pay restitution to his victims. He was only one of the 18 that was convicted. They threw the book at him, it looks like. Says Thomas and his co-conspirators ran some of the dark web's most heinous networks, enabling horrific crimes against innocent victims. But Operation Grayskull has shut down these sites down and delivered justice. We applaud the FBI and our international partners to help with their tireless work and help bringing this matter to a head. It's good news, folks. It's good news. Now, earlier I seen that a pilot was arrested and jerked off a plane, and at the time nobody knew why, and I was thinking about reporting on it at the time, and I thought, this is not a story. We don't have actually the rest of the story yet. And sure enough, here just minutes ago, 44 minutes ago, here on the Gateway Pundit, pilot arrested on plane in child sex abuse case identified by the sheriff's office. So now we know why the minute a plane landed touchdown in San Francisco, the marshals run up on the plane and snatched the dude off. We didn't know what it was over. We didn't know if it was terrorism or what. No need in speculation. Well, now we know that Delta pilot was arrested on board his plane just after he landed Saturday night and has been identified to authorities as 34-year-old Rustam Brawagar from Florida. Brawagar was arrested by Contra Costa Sheriff detectives, aides, and Homeland Security agents on 5 counts of sexual abuse to a child under 10 years old. Snatched his ass off the plane. Good job. These are the people that need to go to prison. Witnesses say it was 10 DHS agents boarded the plane as soon as it parked at the gate and took the pilot into custody. Great work, guys. Yeah, they're starting to go after all these pedophiles. I see it happening in real time, folks. Busting these dark web things, busting these trafficking rings, and busting individuals that have been getting away with it for too long, that have been on the radar but under the radar. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the rest of the clowns that need to go to jail. Barack Obama, James Clapper, John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and so many others. Susan Rice. I could rattle off probably 25 names out of the 100 that actually need to be arrested. But we'll just go ahead and wait for the big list to come out of indictments. Subpoenas are fixing to fly, folks.
I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history. James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting in July 28th in the Oval Office. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years. It undermined a sitting duly elected president. It sabotaged administration. It framed a 3-star general. It destroyed and ripped this country apart. We had a constitutional crisis, the likes of which I don't think any American can fully comprehend. It is atrocious, and every single one of them must be held accountable.
Yeah, and of course,
not to mention the way the media handled us and handled the situation. And now no one has any trust in the media. I trust podcasters over local news at this point, folks. It's just the facts. Now, Nancy Mace weighed on this as well, and she is singing the same tune as most of the rest of the people in Congress. We need accountability for everything.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace, member of the House Oversight Committee, great to have you. And the president's absolutely right. Of course we can talk about this. And I want to know from you, what's at stake with an investigation like this in terms of getting to the truth?
well, number one, if you didn't believe in the deep state then, you absolutely should believe in the deep state now. This was a political hit job worth about $32 million from the top down in the White House all the way down, using agencies like the CIA, the FBI, and the DOJ to kneecap Donald Trump before an election. And maybe it didn't manipulate votes. However, the way that the mainstream media covered it as fact, and the way that they blew President Trump up over this and smeared him, et cetera, that's on their hands. And I hope that the DOJ will have real bona fide criminal referrals, indictments, and that people go to jail for this kind of conspiracy. It's illegal, it's criminal, and thank God that Donald Trump had the courage and he had the strength of millions of Americans also across the country to support him as he fought back against all of the lies, against all of the hoaxes, and against the deep state who was trying to take him out.
She's right, you know. These people have to go to jail. If we don't make an example out of them, they will never stop. They will do this to every Republican that pops their head up in the future, no matter how large or small the position is in government. If they think they can get away with attacking our citizens, if they think they can get away with attacking our politicians because they don't agree with them, we've already lost this country, folks. It's mass chaos when no one is held accountable for criminality. All right, folks, this is a great take from one of my favorite channels over here on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and X. This guy called 3D Printed Ford Parts. I don't know his real name, but he's always got the good stuff.
So this Russia collusion hoax, it is shaping up to be a shitstorm of accountability. Doesn't look like Obama's going to slide on this. Trump's entire team, they're all out there repeating treason. And a lawyer, I heard her say, like, you would not be repeating treason like this unless you had the strongest of cases for it. And you got Obama, dude. I don't think he's gonna skate because he's lawyering up. And not only is he lawyering up, he has got his team out there all across the country retaining lawyers all over. Evidently fucking hundreds of them. And if you don't know that little scam, like, you retain a bunch of lawyers and then there's a conflict of interest that's created, so like other people can't use that lawyer team against you. But I just heard a lawyer explain, like, this isn't against the prosecution. What that probably is Obama tying up these lawyers so that his co-conspirators can't use those lawyers against him if they intend to roll over on him. Clappers on CNN, pissing his pants, says he's lawyered up. I mean, he's shaking, voice cracking. That dude he's like, I expect to be arrested. Like, that's great news. And it's like, Dan Bongino, his cryptic shit about, like, this has shaken me to the core. That could be a fucking whole lot of things. But what is most telling is, like, this is probably not the Democrats alone. A lot of you have forgotten, like, the Republican Party in round one was just as hard against Trump as the fucking Democrats were.
That's right.
And this whole Russia collusion hoax, it all stems from the creation of that Steele dossier. And everybody thinks that starts with Hillary Clinton. Oh, no. Oh, no, it does not. Ted Cruz is the inception of the Steele dossier. He is the first one to pay Christopher Steele for that shit. And then Hillary Clinton picks it up after Ted Cruz figures, like, you know, ain't gonna fucking run it. You remember that shit when he ran against Donald Trump? Remember lying Ted? Tucker's hung him out. This is going to be the last nail in the coffin for that rhino neocon twat waffle. Like, suck it, Ted Cruz. Texas, send him packing. Like, this is just all over the board fucking awesome. CIA Director John Ratcliffe, he's out there and he's saying that statute of limitations isn't going to apply here because that clock doesn't start clicking.
That's right.
On statute of limitations until your last statement about the lie. And he's like, they've been out there even this weekend still perpetuating the same fucking bullshit, dude. They just can't get out of their own way. It's like they don't even understand how the fucking rules work. People, prepare yourselves to learn some shit, because this could be my wet dream for this, honestly, is like that scene from Batman where they just go out and arrest everybody all at once. Like, it's no trickle, but just like arrest the entirety of the uniparty and just get them all at once. That'd be fucking, how epic would that shit be? Trump, alls we want some accountability, sir. Bring it home. To the rest of you, good luck to you. Long live this beautiful republic.
Long live this beautiful republic. And I agree with him. I do think we will get some accountability. I didn't know that Ted Cruz, when he was running against Trump, was possibly riding with Hillary Clinton when it comes to trying to get Trump, because Trump was obviously talking a lot of shit about Ted Cruz and his wife at the time. Remember, his moniker was Lying Ted Cruz. But at any rate, folks, I will have to check into that Ted Cruz, what he said about Ted Cruz. Very possible. Because I know for a fact a lot of these people wanted Trump to go and never come back. The minute he won, I think he was hated because he wasn't part of the old way of doing things, which includes the whole war machine Republican Party Rhino faction. Now, folks, I thought this was the coolest of memes. I just figured I'd share this with y'all before we get out of here today. But there are several more that need to go on this bus besides Obama, John Bolton, Hillary Clinton. We need Adam Schiff in there. There's so many that need to go on this bus. How about Mark Elias? Let's put his ass on the bus, too. How about the folks that tried to go after Trump? Jack Smith and his whole team of district attorneys and prosecutors that did their best to put Trump underneath the prison. Let's look into their life. Let's look into their financial statements. As a matter of fact, let's take everybody in Congress and make them disclose their financial records as far as how they all got so rich. Let's get that done as well while we're at it. That's what I got for you today, folks. More than that, I want to see some people go to jail before this is all said and done. I know we've got actively dozens of investigations going, but more than that, I see a lot of the little small fish to fry going to jail, including these cartel human smugglers. That is happening in real time, folks. DHS is kicking ass, taking names. Thank God for the great Kristi Noem and Tom Homan. They seem to be proving their ability to cut to the red tape and get it done. Deport these folks, arrest these folks, do what you can to get these folks out of our